Hi friends, my name is Madison Heinel, and I'm going to share with you today a passage that encourages me. It's John 16:31 through 33. Jesus responded to them, "Do you now believe? Look, an hour is coming and has come when each of you will be scattered to his own home, and you will leave me alone. Yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. You will have suffering in this world. Be courageous. I have conquered the world." Now, this passage encourages me because even as he was facing his coming death, Jesus offered peace and hope to his disciples. The peace and hope that Jesus offered, though, did not necessarily look or sound like what the disciples wanted to hear. Previously in John 16, Jesus outlined his plans for the future, saying that he would die and then the Holy Spirit would take over and be with his disciples and help them make disciples. But the disciples didn't necessarily like this. In fact, in Matthew 16, another gospel, Peter says, "Never, Lord," when he heard that Jesus would die. Even so, Jesus knew that God's plan was the best plan. I often find myself reacting to my circumstances, though, much like Peter, questioning God's plan. Especially now when people are getting sick because of a pandemic and dying or losing their jobs or homes or quarreling about politics. And saying things like, "This isn't a surprise to God," is true, but it doesn't necessarily ease the pain that we're going through. But here's the thing. A pandemic, loss, sadness, death, corruption, these are things that shouldn't be surprises to me or to other believers either. In John 16, Jesus promised two things in verse 33, that we would, one, have troubles, a promise of things to come, not necessarily a promise we like to hear, but two, that he has overcome the world. This is a promise that is everlasting, that encompasses the past, the present, and the future. He has overcome. He is overcoming. He will overcome. So even as the disciples would face their world turning upside down, and as Jesus would eventually face death, and his disciples would as well, he promised that he is in the midst of it already. He's at the beginning of it, he's in the middle of it, and he's already conquered it. This is the hope that I hold on to during this time. So even though I might face trouble, even though I might face stress and uncertainty because of what's happening, and others even more so, God is in the midst of it. Even though his plan might not look like ours, even though we might think that we know what is best, God has been in the midst of it from the beginning, and he's already overcome it. And that's why this passage encourages me. Even though God's plan might not match mine, I must trust that it is better, because his plan always ends in overcoming.